Hello, everyone. This is John Tiamisha. Today is March 1st, 2022. This is our Introduction to Circassian course. I've just made the announcement that for family reasons, I'm going to be ending this course sooner than I had anticipated. And so the class is just asking what can they do to continue. There's a number of links that I've shared for Google Drive folders. And if you're watching this video and you're not part of the class, drop a comment on YouTube, message me on WhatsApp. At this point, if you don't know how to get a hold of me, shame on you. But these links are freely available. This book is not in the link folder. I can make it available. That's easy to do. The question was, what is the role? What is the importance of reading? And what I was just saying to the class is that there's a lot of research that shows that reading, if you do nothing other than read for 15 to 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week, you will get better results than anything else that you do. Fact. Okay. So then we started talking about how do you go about reading? And that sounds funny. How do you go about reading? But for everything that's out there, there's a way to do it. If you want to train to be a marathon runner and you put your foot the wrong way, putting your foot down thousands of times can cause an injury. If you're shoveling, anybody can shovel. Well, if you shovel the wrong way and you put your back in the wrong position, you can injure yourself. So with reading, it's a similar thing. There are better ways to do it and worse ways to do it. So there's two types of reading. There is intensive reading and there is extensive reading. Now, as adults, we have a desire to do what's called intensive reading. Intensive reading, however, is not as helpful as extensive reading for reasons that I'll explain in just a minute. So first, let's define what is intensive reading versus what is extensive reading. So intensive reading is when you intensively look at every single word. This is a very short story here. You intensively look at every single word and try to understand it all by itself. So this is an example of intensive reading. Jesh, night. Mis, here is. Maza, moon. Mazir, the moon. Yiz is full. Mazir, the moon. Nurs is bright, provides light. Zesher, the night, or the evening. I'm sorry, no, the night. Neuh, bright, not bright, illumination. Dachash is beautiful. Okay. So what we just did was, it's a very simple example, but that's intensive reading. You now know every single word in this story, but you don't know the context. You were so focused on the individual vocabulary words that you were not thinking about the story, right? So human beings, historically, we have not written down our languages. Human beings have been on this planet for 120,000 years. Written languages are maybe 3,000 or 4,000 years old. So we've been speaking with languages far longer than we've been writing them down. So the advantage is, as adults, we're all curious. What does that mean? I have to know what that means. But as human beings, that's not how our brains are wired. So let me give you an example of extensive reading. So this is something I don't care for in the book. They replace some of the words with a picture. I'll tell you what this word is in a moment. But this is an example of extensive reading. Shich, Nasran shich hisash, shichurdachash, shich tampa malid. All right. Who knows what shich means? Who wants to guess? Nasiba, I know you know. But who wants to guess what shich means?
Tree.
It's a type of tree. It's a type of tree. Correct. Okay, so Nasran. What do we think Nasran might be?
It's a name.
It's a name.
Plant's name.
It's a name. It's a name.
Planted tree.
Yes. Nasran Sheikh Hisash. Nasran planted a tree. Now, I'll tell you right now, this type of tree, do you see this picture here? Do you see how the tree is narrow and tall? Okay. In English, this type of tree is called a poplar. I don't know what it's called in Turkish or Russian or Arabic, but it's called a poplar. We see these trees very commonly in the Caucasus. They're very narrow and they grow very tall. And there's a relative of this tree. I don't know what it's called in English or Circassian. There's a relative of this tree that we see in Greece, we see in the Mediterranean, we see in the Black Sea region that's even skinnier and even taller, and it has a pointy top. We always see these by oceans, by black, warm oceans. Okay, so it's related to that tree. Shihur dachas. We know what this means, right? What does this mean, Talat?
Good, nice.
The tree is beautiful. Okay. Shih, Tampa. This is Tampa.
Leaf.
Majid. The tree leaf is shiny. Okay. So that is an example of extensive reading. And with extensive reading, you're reading for meaning. And the reason that extensive reading is superior to intensive reading, with intensive reading, you might know the definition of every word, but you're missing the story. And so the human brain is wired to understand stories. It's not wired to understand individual words. When you speak English or Turkish or Arabic or Russian, when you speak any of the languages that are your first languages, when somebody says, hello, how are you doing today? In your language, you're not thinking, hello, how are you? You don't process the language that way. You process the meaning of that idea. Hello, how are you doing today is an idea, right? It's an idea. It uses multiple words to get the idea out, but it's an idea. So that's how our brain is wired. That's number one. Number two, you might learn the meaning of one word in one example, but we all know that words can have multiple meanings. Sometimes those meanings are similar. Sometimes those meanings are very different, right? So by focusing on extensive reading rather than intensive reading, okay, by focusing on extensive rather than intensive, when you read a high volume of literature, over time, you will see words so often that their meanings will become easy to understand. You may see a word the first time and not know what it means. You may see it 3 times. It might take you 10 times, but on the 11th time, when you see that word, it's going to click, it's going to stick, and you'll know what it means because you've been exposed to that word through context. Okay. So that's intensive versus extensive. Now, so I advocate extensive. Now, you asked a question, Melik, what are some reading strategies that you can do? So a very common reading strategy is called the 3-2-1 approach. Okay. So 3-2-1, let me give you an example. If I were reading this for the first time, 3-2-1 reading strategy is a great strategy. The first time, you read something quietly to yourself and you read it straight through. You don't stop. Now, I'm going to read this out loud, but this is just because I'm in a group. If I were reading this for the first time, I would read it quietly to myself. I would not say anything. Now, having said that, when you're learning to read, it's common for you to whisper. Maybe that's common. That's how your brain's wired. That's okay. That's okay. Okay. So if I were reading this 3-2-1, the 3, we start with 3, right? I would read this. Yes, sir. I'm pretending I can't read well, but Marim, Marim, Mab, Mabja, Abi, Abe, Jawa, Jawaper, pet. This is how I would read it to myself. All right, I'll do it simpler now. So, dari dobrze, psori chwemu dachu dotka. So, I read it the first time straight through as best as I can. I'm not trying to go fast. I'm not trying to go slow. I'm just trying to go through. Now I do it a second time. And this time I'm going slower. I'm going slower. Okay. So, and I'm looking for meaning. Yesep. That sounds to me like the Arabic word for math, which is what it is. Okay. Yeseb. Miriam, mabja, bjen, count, mabja. Somebody else is counting. Miriam is a name. Miriam is a person who is counting. Because I know mapsachla, we say mapsachla. I know we say mashukhwa. So maybe ma is something. So maybe that's what it is. Maybe Miriam is counting. Okay, I got that. Ab. Well, ab means sometimes there, or it means her. So let me keep going. Jawab. Jawab is from Arabic. It means
Yes, answer.
I'm sorry, answer. It means answer. Ab jawaper petkej. I'm not sure what petkej means. I'll come back to that. Dari. The. Ri. We also. Dobrze. Dobrze. Mabje. Dobrze. Mabja, a third person is doing it. Dobrze, we are doing it. Okay. Sorry, everybody. Huemu, slowly. Dahu. It's dasha, but it's the adverb form because we have the u on it. Dahu, dotka. Oh, okay. Chen means to write.
Right.
And do means we are writing. Okay, I got it. Now, I'm pretending, right? But I went through and I got most of it, but there's still this word, petkej. So I'm not sure what that means. So that's the two. Now the third time, I've read it twice now. The third time, I will read it out loud to myself. So again, pretend I'm by myself. The first time I read it through, what are all these letters? What's going on here? Do I understand something? Do I understand nothing? Am I getting something out of this? Okay. The second time that I go through, I'm diving more deeply into meaning. I'm not looking up words. Okay. But I'm trying to figure out, do I recognize these words? Is there something that I know that I don't know I know? Right. So like mabja, right? Bjen, to count. Third person doing it. I know what that means. And then dobrze. Well, if I know it the first time, I know it the second time. But I'm again doing it quietly. So the third time I will read it out loud. And if this is actually a great test, if you read something and you think you understand it, and then you go to read it out loud and you have trouble, I guarantee you, you did not understand it as well as you thought you understood it. I promise you. Okay. So the third time you read it out loud to yourself. Okay. So I'll do this for you. Yesep. Miriam mabza, abizwa per petkej, dari dobrze, psori chwemu dachu dotka. Now, of course, if I were learning, I might be like, Yesep, Miriam mabja, abizwa per petkej, dari dobrze, psori chwemu dachu dotka. That's probably, if I were learning, how I would read this. And then at that point, you know what? Petkej means to be pointing out. Just think that she's pointing it out, just so you know. But let's say I read this and I don't know what petkej means. That's fine. You're done. You go to the next thing that you want to read. Because if you make it a practice of reading 15 to 20 minutes a night, every night, eventually you'll see, if that word is a valuable word, you'll see it enough that it'll make sense. If that word is not a valuable word, you won't see it again. And if you don't see it again, why would you bother learning it? So some people like to memorize lots of words. if you memorize a word, you don't know all of its meanings, you don't know its context, and you don't know if you need that word. There's lots of words in Circassian we don't need anymore because they're agricultural, and we're not agricultural people today the way we were 200 years ago, right? So that would be my advice, Malik. You asked, reading is the most important thing you can do, especially since a lot of you don't have a community around you that you can speak to on a regular basis. Reading is the most important thing you can do. 15 to 20 minutes a night is perfect. There's tons and tons and tons of research out there that shows 15 to 20 minutes a night will get you to a solid conversational level in 6 to 12 months. You do nothing else. You do nothing else but read 15 to 20 minutes a night. You will become conversational in 6 to 12 months, even if you start from zero. You do another 6 to 12 months after that, you'll be native-like in your speech. Okay.
Thank you. I was following Stefan Kreshner. He is also making so much research on this topic, and he also has some books. I think I forgot its name actually. You just want to read it, self-selected reading or something like that. I don't remember the name. So I was following those things, and I just understood that it is working great for people. And he was also talking about his experiences about, I started to read and I get a degree and I get a level of the language, target language. And so I just wanted to ask, and thank you for suggestion. It is really great.
Yep. Yeah, I know. I've read all of Krashen's books. I've met Krashen. He's a very nice guy. And what he calls it self-selected reading. He also calls it pleasure reading. It also is called, extensive as a method. But yes, it's basically reading something that's interesting to you, right? So now there's not such a wide selection of reading in Circassian, but if you're learning English, it's fine to read comic books or science fiction or romance novels, Jack London. I know Lalina likes Jack London, or Jules Verne, science fiction, right? The importance is that you're not reading a textbook. You are reading something that is interesting to you, right? It could be a children's book. It could be fairy tales, could be literature, could be poetry. I don't recommend poetry because poetry is very abstract. You need a lot of knowledge to read poetry. I don't like poetry to begin with, but I don't read poetry in Circassian. It's just too abstract. Any other questions about reading?
And one more thing to add, I was just yesterday too, I was reading one thing in Circassian language, and we see long syllabus words, it is quite often in Circassian language. And I think this method this strategies will help me figure out them and just not to read everything and just go on reading.
That's the way to do it. That's the way to do it. So in my case, it may be hard for some of you to get something that you can find to read. I don't know, but there's a lot of stuff that I have in my shared folder. If you want something, just drop me a message. I'll see what I can do to find it. But that shared folder that I shared, for most of you, it should be fine because I think not a lot of you are able to read at the level that I just read. Let me see what else is in here. Give me 1 second. What's this? Yeah, I covered them. I mean, there's a lot of stuff in here. But okay. You guys ready for a little bit of discussion? Ready to go into a formal class? Yeah. All right. Okie dokie. Let me get up my thing. Okay. Oh, and remember, you guys can all do it. I didn't start speaking Circassian until I was 31. I did not grow up with, my mom and my dad speak the language, but they never taught it to me. So I can read, I can write. I feel very comfortable. I still want to get better. But there's nothing I can't say. There's nothing I don't really understand. I get the meaning of most stuff. So you guys can do it. I mean, when I started, There was no method. There was no teacher. There was nothing. You know, you guys have like a how-to guide, you know, so you guys, if you can dream it, you can achieve it. Believe me.
Is it possible to create some kind of a mailing list so that we could stay in contact? And
Yeah, we have a WhatsApp group. If somebody can drop the WhatsApp group into the link for the WhatsApp group into the group chat for Kirill and for anybody else as well. All right, you guys can hang on. That's not what I wanted to do. I want to share. There we go.
Is there still a Discord channel?
There is still Discord, yeah. All right. All right. Where did we go last time? We covered this. So this is an example of one of those long words that Melich was talking about just a few minutes ago. Yeah. So we went here. We went here. All right, we're going to start some new stuff today. So one of the things that I've done with these classes is I've shortened them up into what I call micro stories. So what's nice about the micro stories is if somebody misses a class, we cover a new micro story. So even if you never came to the last class, if like somebody here was here for the first time and this is their first slide, we would still be able to engage that person. But if you had been here for many, many hours, many classes, it would still be new for you. So has anybody seen this slide before in this class? Oh, really? We covered this?
Yeah.
Okay. Okay, so we'll start here and we'll keep going. Okay, so everybody open your microphone. All right. Class. Sit. We're all tired, dude. Oh! Robotom zagorje'a. Robotom zagorje'a. Sidji'ara. De'ak. Let's look. What is the robot saying? Let's look. The robot can say many things. Robotom yitzarje'a. Robotom khabar je'a. Robotom qaqwa je'a. Robotom qaqwa je'a. Dua.
Sit.
Robotom yitzar sit.
Robotom je'a.
Robotom yitzar sit. Sit yitzar.
Robotom yitzar. I don't see the
Bender.
name.
Well, you can make, well, the name is Bender. He's from a popular TV show, but you can make up a name, but the name is Bender. So you can, let's say Bender. So tell me his name is Bender.
Okay, Robotom yitzar Bender.
Robotom yitzar Benders. Okay, Kirill. Robotom sidji'ara.
Robotom zagorje'a.
Zagorje'a. Zagorje'a. Nilgun.
It's Jonty.
Robotom zagorje'a. Sitem tehuawa. What is he saying something about?
I understood. Robotum yichabar gasharon je'a.
Robotom yichabar gasharon je'a. The robot is telling his interesting story. Chabar, story. Gasharon, interesting, amazing. Okay. Robotom, halamach. Robotom, let's just keep it chabar. Robotom yichabar je'a. Melich.
Sir Janti.
Chat chabar je'a.
Robotom khabar je'a.
Taj. Lalina.
Sit.
Wa chabar jipara.
حوا خبر нет. سجسركم.
سخبار جسركم. سخبار جسركم. جنوك.
Sitjanti.
روبوتم قاقوة جيئرة. حمرة خبار جيئرة.
Robotum Havar Giara.
باج روبوتم خبار جيئة. روبوتم خبار جيئة. ميرفا. س خبار جسرة.
حاو
خد خبار جيئرة.
روبوتم خبر جاء.
روبوتم خبار جيئة. حوا. How Haya. Every person whose name is Haya, which is an Arabic word, I always call them Hawa, which was my grandmother's name, because I see I'm thinking in Circassian and I see the ya for Haya, but I'm putting it as Hawa because it's wa in Circassian. And in my mind, they're both beautiful names, but my grandmother's name is, anyways, Haya. I'm sorry. Haya. Robotum. ست خود خبر جيئرة.
روبوتم ينو برخبار جاء.
اوكي عارتا كوخس ما ادري يجاقوك مش حتى جت انوس. اوكي خبارم جيئة حلمت حمرة ذا شغة.
ذا شغة.
ذا شغش. اوكي ذا شغة ذا كلاس. Okay. Zashugha, boring. All right. So Nilgun says that he's telling an interesting story, Halamet story, but Haya says it's Zashugha, boring. Zashugha. My 4-year-old daughter, she still doesn't know this word. She goes, Baba, like I'm watching TV and she wants to watch her little cartoons. Baba, boring. And what's funny is she has this beautiful little Kabardian accent. Baba, then she switches to American. Boring. Then she goes back to Kabardian. Boring. She doesn't say boring. She doesn't say boring. She says boring. That's how she rolls. So, but the word for boring is zashugha. Zashugha. Okay. Arashi, Muhammad.
Janti.
Khat ji'ara robotum yakhabarer zashugha.
Khaya جاء.
روبوتم.
جاء روبوتم خبر زشوة.
زشوغش. انت هاي جاء روبوتم يخبر زشوغش.
زشوغش.
او نلقون جاء روبوتم يخبر حلمتش.
انت
نتاي خد جاء روبوتم يخبر حلمتش.
نلقون جاءش حرب روبوتم يخبر حلمتش.
وويديشتا, in your opinion, وويديشتا روبوتم يخبر حلمت حمرة زشوغة.
حلمت.
حلمتش. خونشتا حلمتش. حلمتش.
روبوتم حلمتش.
روبوتر حلمتش. اوكي. نسبة. روبوتم سجي أرى.
روبوتم خبر جاء.
ستوى ذا خبر زشوغة حمرة حلمت.
أوري جاء.
أوري جاء. وويديشة من روبوتم يخبرر ستوى ذا زشوغة حمرة حلمت.
حلمتش.
حلمتش. Yeah. مروبوتري حلمتش. The robot is also interesting. مروبوتري حلمتش. Okay. Satanai. مربوطم يتسر ست.
ربوتم يتسر بندر.
Benders. Benders.
Alexander.
No, Bender, not Alexander. Bender. Bender. لماذا؟ مربوطم جيئرة أقوى حمراء مربوطم جيئرة خبار.
مربوطم جيئرة خبار.
خبار. خبار جيئر. محمد.
Yes, Janti.
سيتسر جسأرة.
ويتسر جانتي. جانتيش.
Paj. سيتسر جانتيش. أوا. سيتسر جسأرة.
هوا و يتسر جئبكم.
جبرقم.
جبركم.
باج. سيتسر جسرقم. خط يتسر جيئرة.
روبوتم يتسر جاء.
باج. روبوتم يتسر جاء. سينا. روبوتم يتسر ست.
روبوتم يتسر بندر.
بندر حلمت حمراء زشوغة.
بندر حلمت.
بندر حلمتش. أليا.
جانتي.
بندر حلمتش. أوا يخبارر حلمت حمراء زشوغة.
روبوت حلمتش أو أبي خبر زشوش.
باج. بندر حلمتش أوا أبي خبارر زشوغش. So Bender is interesting, but his story is boring. Okay.
Happens.
So I remember now we did cover this verb. This is a weird verb, jazoa, jaboa, jea, right? But are we feeling a little bit more comfortable now with all these different verb forms? Yeah. And you guys are thinking in the language when I'm asking you questions. Let me ask you a different question. When you guys are going through this little exercise, are you translating the words in your brain, or are the words in your brain going directly into the ideas?
It's coming as ideas for me, at least.
Okay.
I can say that.
I'm gonna guess. Who else agrees?
Both of them.
Yeah. How about Mirva or Mehmet? For you guys, is it translating into your native languages, or is the words in Circassian going straight to the ideas in your brain?
Depends. Some words are really comfortable, it feels, but some of them, no. I'm still thinking, and if I don't understand, I try to guess the meaning.
Okay. How about you, Mehmet?
I am not good at Adagabs right now, but I don't translate it for now. But I have some problems with prefixes.
Okay, that'll come. So who here watches this TV show with Bender? Or maybe you watched it in the past. Is there anybody who's a fan of this show?
I watched only an episode of it and I didn't like it.
Okay. So we don't have many fans in this class of Bender. Okay, that's fine.
I didn't even know if there is a show.
Yeah. So in my American class, my American and Canadian class, the students love this show. I really enjoy the show. This is from the people who made the show are the same people who made The Simpsons.
Oh.
So I enjoy this thing. And the thing that he always says is, bite my shiny metal butt. But he uses a different word for butt. So they asked me in the other class how to say that. And if you were a fan of the show, it would be funnier. But all right.
For robots, I only know the movie RoboCop.
So, you know, the reason I think it's funny for me, imagine we all, I'm going to say something a little not nice here, but sometimes people, they use bad words. I'm not going to use bad words. We have some women and children in the audience, but you might say, kiss my butt, right? That's like not a nice thing to say. So if you translate that into Circassian, it sounds funny. I don't know why, but it does. Kiss my butt, right? So that's why sometimes, yeah, I see you guys are laughing now. That's why that other thing was funny for us. Okay, let's go back to this. So did we cover this verb?
We did, yes.
We did. Okay, so we'll keep going through it. So actually, no, you know what? No, we'll go through it. We'll go through it. So class. What we matter zechizog. What we matter zechizog. We matter zechizog. Melih.
Janti.
What? Egyptstu. Right now. Merva, that was a new word for you a couple days ago. What? Egyptstu. Wared zechebchira.
هو يجبستوس ورد زخي خرقم
زخس خرقم.
زخس خرقم.
Lalina.
Sit.
What Egyptstu sit zechebchira.
Say Egyptstu wowi makr zechazog.
What Egyptstu si makr zecheboch. Kirill. Egyptstu Lalina awathawa zechichira.
How Egyptstu Lalina wowi makr zecheb.
Zechich. Pej. Egyptstu Lalina sasi makr zechichirkum. Awathawa zechichirkum. Egyptstu Lalina si makr zechich. Nilgun.
Yes, Jonty. Sit on, Jonty.
What? Zezamiza wared zechebchira.
Nete says zezemize waret zechizot.
Janok.
Sit Janti.
Nilgun zezamiza awathawa zechichira.
Hawa Nilgun Weret zich boog.
Zechich.
Zich.
Nilgun wared zechich. Haya.
Sit.
Nilgun sit khwada wared zechichira.
Faragza.
Riyabze.
Can you repeat
the
the
wared
question?
Nilgun sit khwada wared zechichira.
Nilgun adi gabzacha warad zechich.
Nilgun adi gebza wared zechich. Adi gebzacha, it sounds a little strange to say. It's like if I said Nilgun is listening to a Circassian song. Nilgun is listening to a song in Circassian. It sounds strange. It sounds okay in English. It sounds odd in Circassian. So we'd say Nilgun adi gebza wared zechich. Merva. Nilgun Egyptstu Turk wared zechichira.
How Nilgun Turkubza wared Zuhi how can I say she can't hear? I don't know.
So we take the question form.
Zuhi
zechichirkum.
Zuhihirkum.
Okay. Arguaru. Say it again. Arguaru. Qaja'a arguaru.
I don't get it.
Qaja'a means tell me. Arguaru means again. So tell me again. Put it all together. Tell me again.
Okay. What was the question? Yes. How Nilgun Turkubza wared زخيخرقم.
باج نلقون تركبزة ورد زخيخ رقم. انت باج طلعة
جانتي
و ززمزة راديو زخيبخرة.
هوا زمز راديو زخيس خرقم.
و راديو ززمزة زخيبخرقم.
انت
Wow. أبقيتشر that means و زي راديو زخيبخرقم. Who knows what zay means?
Never.
Never. So if you don't sometimes hear the radio, that means you never hear the radio. Arpej. Tal'a radio yafafqam. He doesn't like the radio. He doesn't like the radio. Okay, khons. Dua.
Set.
Dal'a. Zazamiza. Radio. Zahikhira.
حوا طلع راديو زغزقم.
زخسقرقم. Da paj. Natai.
Oh,
Khat. Zazamiza. Adiyabza Wared. Zahikhira.
نلقون أدي غبزة ورد زخيخ.
Sitim deji. Hamra. Zazamiza. Zazamiza. Muhammad.
جانتي
Wa. Zazamiza. Heavy metal. Wared. Zahikhira.
تمام س زمزة heavy metal زيخزوخ.
Wigrihra. Heavy metal. Wared.
نتا سيكروهاش.
Wow, Wigrihra. Okay. Sasidejcha. So when we say Sasidejcha, it means by me. But it's like saying in my opinion. Okay. Sasidejcha, heavy metal wared, awathawas. Heavy metal wared, awathawas. Nasiba.
Sit.
Khat, heavy metal wared, yigrihra.
يتسق شغب شاغجة.
Muhammad.
محمد زخيخ.
Wa zazamiza heavy metal wared zikhebkhira. Hawa. Wawidejcha heavy metal wared awathawa. Hamara wared. Awathawa. Sarisi desh abhuadas. Sasidejcha heavy metal wared awathawas. Satanai. Wa zazamiza radio zikhebkhira.
زمز راديو زخزوخ.
و راديو زخبخرة وردري زخبخرة.
انت راديو زخزوخ وردري زخزوخ.
ست خود ورد زخبخرة و
حرببز ورد.
حرببز ورد. حرببز ورد. ويجري حرببز ورد خر.
انت سجروح.
خونشتا. دمازة. و ززمزة حرببزة heavy metal ورد زخبخرة.
هوا سه ززمزة arabubze radyo zıheskhırgım hava se heavy metal zıhzoh.
Heavy metal zıhebkhira.
Nute.
Wigri hara heavy metal. Wared.
Nute.
Tajui.
Siguri ha heavy metal wared.
Wow. لماذا يجروح heavy metal ورد محمد
Yes, Janti.
وري ززمزة heavy metal ورد زخبخرة
هوا سه زمزة هوا متال ورد زخس خرطم.
ممتاز زخبخرة خد ززمزة heavy metal ورد زخيخرة
محمد دمازر.
ياغري حرة ياغري حرة
ياغرو.
Hey, repeat.
ياغري حرة. Do they like it?
Pardon. هوا.
ياغروح
ياغرو.
ياغروح محمد را دمازرة heavy metal ورد خر ياغروح
دغو محمد دمازر هوا متال ورد يجروح.
ياغروح خونشتا سينا
ست
و ززمزة ورد زخبخرة
نطق ززمزة ورد زخزوخ
ودنا زخبخرة والراديو زخبخرة دنا ورد خر زخبخرة
راديو
راديو متا عليا
طب
واري ززمزة راديو زخبخرة
هو الراديو زمزة خسركم
ززمزة زخبخركم أرى
زخبخركم انت
okay ززمزة زخسخركم sometimes I don't listen أبقيتشر that means ززمزة زخزوخ تجقى
هو زي
زخبخركم
انت
such حتى
سبوتيفاي سي
okay Spotify ريق دوبجة we count Spotify as radio
خنش
Spotify ريق دوبجة راشي Spotify راديوش internet راديوش تنش we'll say it's internet radio
how do I say then like in this case
أرامي
أرامي راديو ستم ديجي زخزوخ
والراديو ستم ديجي زخبوخ ست خود كانال
select list
we liked Lister okay we liked Lister خنشتا did anybody not talk about listening? Did I hit everybody? All right, I think I hit everybody. We're going to skip this. This is rudimentary for us. You know what? We'll do this in 5 minutes. We'll go pretty quick. Okay, so class. Sa telephone si akam, awa telephone suhwish. Yeah, si jawaz rkhunchi, k sajlenio. Si jawaz rkhunchi, telephone si akam, awa suhwish. Suhwish. Kirill. What? $1 billion ويئة.
Power $1 billion سيأكم.
$1 billion ويأكم. ساري $1 billion سيأكم. مليح.
سجانتي.
$1 billion وخوي.
حوا $1 billion بسخويتم. $1
billion وخويكم. $1 billion أدي قبزة تشخر وخوي.
نتا. billion أدي قبزة تشخر سخويس.
Okay. $1 billion أدي قبزة تشخر ويئة.
حوا سياقم.
Lalina,
Sit.
what's sit وخوي?
Wait, quad
Quad hills sit قجي أجت. What do you want?
quad
You want to write a book?
No, I want lots of books.
You want تخيل quad. Okay. Sa تخيل quad سخويش. Quad. What تخيل quad ويا?
How تخيل quad سيأكم.
Сижа وزرخونشي. Unfortunately. سجلينيو по-русски. Нильгун.
ست جونتي.
What? تخيل quad ويا?
Это се تخيل كود سياش.
Wow. يجري زغور نغش وخوي.
نغش.
Nagash. What means nagash?
Different else?
Another?
Something else.
Something else. Okay. نتا Egypt'u se نغش تخيل كم قصيخون سخيش.
ونغش تخيلهم قبشخون وخويش. Okay. أصغروا عاش. جنوك.
Sit Janti.
Sit وخوي. PlayStation حمرا Xbox.
Se PlayStation سقويش.
PlayStation ويا.
Se PlayStation سي أقم.
ويأقم أو وخويش. أرى. Sit خدا فيديو جبوتشا سيستيما. Sit خدا video جبوتشا سيستيما. What type of video game system? Sit خدا video جبوتشا سيستيما ويا.
Can I say se PC?
سا كمبيوتر سي اش.
Se computer سي أش.
سا كمبيوتر سي اش. اوكي. ميرفا.
جانتي.
وكمبيوتر ويا.
عرس كمبيوتر سي أ.
كمبيوتر وخوي.
Can you repeat? My connection is not strong right now.
كمبيوتر وخوي.
A new computer, you mean?
يتانا وجب فانوش. So you can say سا كمبيوترشا سخويش.
سا كمبيوترشا سخويش.
So when we add isha at the end, it means new. Sa computerisha sahwish. Okay.
Okay.
Haya.
Sit.
What's sit wahwe?
Sa vacation sahwish.
Zagap sukhwa wahwish.
Da.
Zagap
Zagap sukh sukhwana sahwish.
What dana wakwan hwe?
How do I say anywhere?
Sit kwa the shipami.
Sit kwa the shipami.
Sit kwa the shipami. What bilet we are?
Bilet?
Bilet. Ticket.
Sitme.
Bilet.
What is that?
Ticket.
How I say it?
How do you say ticket in Arabic?
Tizkara.
Tizkara. How do you say in Turkish?
Bilet.
Yeah, it's Latin word. It's Latin word.
French.
Arashi wa bilet wahwesh awa bilet wi'aqam.
How I say it?
Si jawa zarkhunchi. Si jawa zarkhunchi. Muhammad.
جانتي.
خد bilet where?
هيا بليت. إيخويش
Sıçhaça.
هيا وخيش vacation إيخويش
Haya vacation huish. Wa bilet wi'a.
هوا سبلت سأكم
Wa bilet wuhui.
Nida I'm also seri
Sari bilet squish.
bilet squish.
Wa zishipa wakwanu wuhui.
Zishipa
Someplace.
Nida seri zishua skonu squish.
Sari zishipa sikwanu squish.
Da.
Dua.
Spit.
Wa zishipa wakwanu wuhui. Wa
You
you.
repeat that?
Wa is you. Zishipa, one place, someplace. Wa zishipa wakwanu 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 wuhui.
Do I want to go somewhere? That's what you're saying? Okay. Inta. Sa. How do you say place again?
Zishipa.
Sa. Sichipa. Sikwe.
Sikwanu. Sikwanu.
Sikwano.
Sikwish.
Sikwish.
Natai.
Oh.
What do you wuhui? Zishipa wakwanu.
تخوي
What bilet wi'a?
حوا سابلت سيال
Au bilet wuhuish.
التا
Zishipa wakwanu wuhui ma bilet wuhuish. Nasiba.
Sit.
What shay wi'a? Chaya.
يجيب ستوسي أقوب.
Ay, wi'aqab. Wuhui shay.
Ara.
Ara. Sari sukwe shay. Setanai.
Sit.
What sit wuhui? Shay. Hamra. Coffee. Qahwa.
So coffee سخويش.
Coffee wuhui. Coffee wi'a.
C'est coffee سياش.
Yujib stu coffee wi'a.
يجيب ستو هوا coffee سياش.
Qaqabtsaqwa. Liar. Qaqabtsaqwa. You said you have coffee. I said, do you really have coffee? You said you don't have coffee.
But not now. It's in the kitchen.
Shafapam dej. Coffee si'ash. Shafapa. Makbakh. Right? Arabic makbakh. Is that how we say it? Makbakh, yeah. I speak, أنا بعرف شوي عربي. Be careful. Be careful. Shafapa. How we say makbakh. Limaza.
Sit.
Wa aslan wi'a.
Hava se aslan si ash.
You said, yeah. You said, no, I have a lion.
My
Sa aslan si akam.
Hava se aslan si ash my get sigedur aslan.
Okay, aras just anot. That's what I was gonna say. What aslan wi akam? What jadu wi ash? Jadu tuk wi ash. Hajqa?
Face.
Okay. What aslan wuhui?
Hava se aslan shui.
Wuhui kam aslan? Wuhui kam aslan? Wawa adigas? Dat kana adiga where aslan dishkhir yibjar abgadatu hambash disha yipsham tesu. Every Circassian wants 2 golden lions in front of his house and a gold chain around his neck. You don't want these things? No? And of course, if you're real Adiga, you also want priora lada with spinning golden rims.
Oh.
Yeah, Lalina, she knows what I'm talking about. and also neon lights underneath the car, right, Lalina? She's speechless right now. All right, Mahmoud.
Yes, Shanti.
What Lamborghini ويا
هوا سي لامبورغيني سائق.
Lamborghini وخوي
انت سي لامبورغيني سكواش.
Lamborghini وخويش ويأقم عوا وخويش. Okay. ست خدا بخفة. What color? ست خدا بخفة.
سي بخيج لامبورغيني سكواش.
Sa Lamborghini بخج سخويش. I want a red Lamborghini. Okay. Mahmoud جاء sa Lamborghini بخج سخويش. Okay. Okay. Sena. Mahmoud Lamborghini فتسة خوي.
Mahmoud Lamborghini przy
بخج.
Plij خويش.
Pej. Mahmoud Lamborghini فتسة خويقم. Mahmoud Lamborghini بخج خويش. Ara. Yeah. That's too bad, Mahmoud. I was just going to give you my black Lamborghini, but you're so picky. You only want a red one. So I have to give it to Sina instead. I have to give it to Sina instead. Hope so is. Aliyah. Why يجب sto Mexican hand خوبس ويا؟
هوا سيجارمتش
سيجاغو زرخونشي
سيجار زرخونشي سيقم
ويأقم. وشكنغور ويا يجب sto؟
شخنغور سيقم أو how to say I will cook something.
Zagwar تاكتشم زغوار سبشفانوش.
سبشفانوش.
Shafan. Shafan mean it's interesting. Shafan means are you able to do something? But we use that to mean it's kind of like katov Ruski. Katov, like yakatov, I'm cooking, I'm able to cook. It's a similar concept. So shafan is a verb. It means like if you're able to do something in general, but we use it for cooking. And then a cook would be a shafapa. Shafapa is cook. Like the person who cooks. So sa dautachum zagwar sipshafanos.
Dautachum is a little bit later.
A little bit later, yeah. You want to put it all together for me?
Sure. Satagdachum zagwar sipshafano.
Okay. When you cook, are you going to cook meat? Just tell me yes. Okay. Dautachum sa le sipshafanos.
Dautachum sa le sipshafanos.
Okay. Dala. Dautachum alia vimpu le pshafano.
عليا و لا وبشفنو
بمبول
هوا جد
بمبول افش بمبول افش عراقة. It's not tasty. ودرعة وفمبو وفمبول ويا
هوا
ويأقم
هوا وفوق ويسياقم
فمبول وخوي
هوا
وخوي خونشتا وفمبو نبجوخ ويا
نبجونتا
انت سبب بون بزوق سي اس.
كواسكيش نبجوغ CH.
Kowalski ونبزوش. Kowalski status report. Yeah.
Sit.
Status report. Remember in the movie? Kowalski status report. Yes, sir.
Yeah. Kowalski, the reports.
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, yes. Okay. Is there anybody who did not go? Kirill, did you go with this?
Yeah, in the beginning.
Okay, okay. Anybody did not get a chance? Okay, very good. All right, guys. I love these classes. These are just fun for me. In my dream world, I would do this every day, all day. This would be my full-time job. That's how much I love the language. I love all of you, amazing people. We'll go, like I said, we'll meet inshallah on Thursday. And then, like I said, I'm going to take care of some family matters and we'll see what happens after Ramadan ends. Okay. I do have a few minutes. Are there any final questions or comments from anything we covered today? No? Okay. Everybody have a wonderful week. I'll see you in 2 days. Alhamdulillah.
So,
Is there a
proposition.
second?